All right, welcome everybody to the first session for the AF Digital Masterclass series, wherein a bunch of Salesforce experts from AF Digital will be discussing the different Salesforce clouds, products, platforms, and tools that can help your business grow and can help your business succeed. My name is Zeke, and I'm very excited to be the one discussing today's topic, getting started with Social Studio. I've had a lot of personal experience with the tool, and I'm very excited to show you how great it can be and how it can affect your business. This session is more of an introductory session for Social Studio. So for those that are aimed at those interested and wants to see what it can do as a platform. But before anything else, I would just like to show you what else is in store for the AF Digital Masterclass in the coming days. So after today's session, we'll still have 2 more sessions that will be on the 14th and the 21st of April for social. But we also have plenty of Salesforce topics, such as how to manage your service requests. This one is for Service Cloud, and how to configure Salesforce. And the sessions for these topics will be on the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd of April, respectively. And I highly encourage you to register and sign up for these webinars as well. The speakers that we'll be discussing these webinars are some of the best I know in the industry. They're top of the line in AF Digital. And if you're interested, just go to our website, www.afdigital.com, and sign up for the AF Digital Masterclass. And a little something relevant to our topic here today, since we're talking about social media. Please do also follow us on social. Like us on Facebook, that's Facebook/AF Digital Social, and follow us on Twitter and Instagram as well with the handle @AF Digital Social. Okay, so let's get right to it, starting with a brief rundown of the things that we'll be discussing here today. So first, I would just like to establish why social is even important and why it's crucial for most businesses nowadays to at least get a foothold in social media. And next, I'll be discussing what Social Studio is, what are the main things that it can do, and some of the fundamental things that make Social Studio operate. Before moving on to the 3 major components of Social Studio, that is publish, engage, and also analyze. So for the publish, engage, and analyze, we'll be also having short demos of the things that I'll be showing you in the slides. And then at the end of the webinar, I'll be dedicating a short time to answer some of the questions, if there are any questions. And although if you do have questions during the presentation, do not hesitate to just ask a question through the GoToWebinar chat right there. Every now and then, I can take a couple minutes just to see if there are any questions and answer them right away if I can, or if not, I can answer them at the end during the question and answer portion. So let's get right to it then. The first thing we should do is ask yourselves, why is social media even important? Is it, as a business, is it something that you should even care about? Is it worth investing whatever limited resources or whatever precious time you already have? And you most likely already have an answer. The answer is definitely yes. But I wanted to throw some statements and numbers and figures that can cement that thought even further and remove all shadow of doubt regarding why social is even important. So when we ask ourselves our question, why social is important, you just remember for one of these important facts, out of 7.8 billion people in the world, there's about 3.5 billion active social media users as of January 2020. That's about 45% of the world's population logging into social media, reading other people's thoughts, posting their own opinions, and seeing the different messages from different brands all over social media. And not only that, the average person, the average social media user spends about 3 hours per day on social networks and messaging alone. This number obviously may rise, especially given the recent happenings all over the world with the lockdowns, and now people have more time to actually access social media. And to put this 3 hours per day to scale, the average human being lives about to a lifespan of 79 years old. If we do numbers and calculate 3 hours per day for 79 years, that rounds out about to 12.5% of our entire lives spent only on social networks and messaging alone. And it's not even just for entertainment. It's not even just for just leisure. Uh, Numbers actually say 54% of social browsers actually use social media to research about products. This is what gave rise to influencer marketing, and so people are actually going to social media not just for entertainment. They're actually looking for the opinion of other people, for the messages of different brands on whether or not they should buy their product or not. And probably the most important takeaway out of all these figures is about 71% of consumers that has had positive experience online with any brand are more likely to recommend that brand to their friends and family, which basically is the goal of any business, right? You want to provide an experience to your consumers, such an amazing experience that they themselves market your brand to other potential consumers, and this in turn can create potential sale. And there's nothing bad about it, except this is only positives. So when you're asking yourself, going back to the original question, if social is even important, most definitely that's a yes. But if you're only figuring it out right now, then you're already way behind, because the question is no longer whether or not it is important for any business. The question is now, how can you maximize social media for your business? All right. So if you want to penetrate the social media market, you won't be the first brand to do it. You'll be entering a landscape where there are several competitors. Several of your competitors are already working towards vying for the attention of your consumers. And in this sort of like battlefield, it's kind of like waging a war. Trying to be successful in social media is like waging a war. And essentially, much like the real thing with war, there's essentially three things you need. You need information. You need to know what your customers are saying about you. And you need information on who your competitors are. And you need information on what people are saying about your competitors. When you have the information, only then can you create a strategy on how to respond to that information that you got, and the different actions and steps that you would take in order to improve your relationship with your consumers. And last but not least is the technology to do both of those things. So you need the technology in order to get the right information at the right time from the right people, and you also need the technology that will roll out your strategy, publish your content, and do both of these things at once. And when you're thinking about this, there may be tons of social media platforms that does either one of these three things. They can give you the right information, or they can help you roll out your strategy with the right technology. But there's nothing else that I personally recommend, other than obviously the star of today's show, which is obviously Social Studio. Social Studio is a powerful real-time publishing and engagement platform, not only for content marketers, not only for publishers. It also features built-in reporting tools for reports analysts and social analysts. So it's your one-stop solution for your social media needs. So in this discussion, I'll be showing you some of the things that Social Studio can do and what it can do for your business. And just a little quick note here, Social Studio also has a mobile component. So Social Studio has a mobile app that you can check out at the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store. And this is a good thing for those social media marketers that are on the go. So basically, you can access your Social Studio anywhere at any time, so long as you have a mobile phone and a working internet connection. But what can Social Studio do exactly? So there's main things that we can actually there are main key things that Social Studio can do. First, it allows you to create and schedule your content through Publish. It allows you to plan and publish content to your fans. And second, it allows you to interact and communicate with your fans in order to give them the support that they need and humanize the brand. And lastly, as I mentioned, it has a built-in reporting capabilities. So with Analyze, you're able to understand how your social pages and content are performing. But before we go into a deeper discussion on Publish, Engage, and Analyze, we first need to understand two things, maybe a couple of things that make Social Studio operate. So there are about two data sources when it comes to Social Studio. This is where your data will be coming in. Obviously, the first one is your actual social media accounts that you connect to Social Studio. So the supported social media networks are usually the big mainstream social media networks such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, YouTube, and even the Chinese media platform Sina Weibo is also supported. So any inbound page activities such as private messages, wall posts, comments, any of those inbound page activities will be harvested by Social Studio. And the other thing, the other data source that we have in Social Studio, and it's sometimes what we refer to as the heart of Social Studio, is what we call the topic profiles. Topic profiles are basically keyword-based queries that are used for social listening in order for you to find out what people are saying about your brand, what people are saying about your customers, and what people are even saying about the industry itself, even without tagging the brand itself. What I mean by that is that with social accounts, you harvest the inbound page activities. So in an example, I love the AF Digital Socials Masterclass series. This will be harvested by a social account since I mentioned the official Twitter account of AF Digital. The difference with topic profile is that it can capture off-page mentions so long as the keywords indicated within the topic profile are mentioned in that particular post. So they can scroll keywords from blogs, forums, aggregators, buy and sell forums, mainstream news sites, Facebook posts, Twitter tweets, Instagram posts. So it doesn't necessarily, they don't necessarily have to mention your particular social account in order for the topic profile to be to harvest that particular post. So in this example, this statement, I loved AF Digital's Masterclass series. I don't actually tag the AF Digital Social official account, but this will be harvested by the topic profile if any of these words match any of the keywords within the topic profile. So in this case, it most likely would be AF Digital or Masterclass. If it's in that topic profile, it will get harvested into Social Studio. So these are the two things that we use as data sources when it comes to Social Studio: your actual accounts and these keyword-based queries we call topic profiles. And then another useful feature with Social Studio is it allows you to organize or structure your data within Social Studio. Basically, you can group your social accounts and topic profiles, as well as the users that will be interacting with those social accounts and topic profiles, into however you would like. So this is mostly up to your preference or creativity, but it can also be sort of mimicking your organizational structure. So you can have workspaces that are personal to you, such as, let's say I have my own workspace, Zeke's workspace or Zeke's playground, that I can do my own personal stuff on. But if you want to structure it in a way that it mimics, let's say, geographical business units that you might have. Let's say, for example, AF Digital Philippines and then AF Digital Australia. You can have two workspaces. You can add all the accounts for the Philippines on the Philippine workspace and all the accounts for the Australia workspace on the Australia workspace. So how you want to design how each social accounts, topic profiles, and users are grouped is entirely up to how you want it to be. It's completely customizable. And of course, since we're actually connecting your social accounts to Social Studio, and it's all about scheduling and publishing your content, you don't want to risk having someone who shouldn't be posting content to any social accounts accidentally posting to the social accounts you have on Social Studio. So in order to do that, there's actually two levels of accessibility or permissions that you can grant your users within Social Studio. The first one being, if you want to define the level of a permission of a user for the entire Social Studio, you have what we call the user role. So you define what things they can access, what workspaces they can access based on the user role. So I can be part of 5 workspaces, but on the Social Studio level, I still have a predefined permissions and capabilities of what I can do in Social Studio. On the other hand, there may also be a business requirement wherein you would like to, let's say, restrict certain permissions in each workspace. And in order to achieve that, you'd have to actually use workspace roles. So the workspace roles, on the other hand, defines the level of permission of a user for a specific workspace. So going back to my original example of AF Digital Philippines and then AF Digital Australia workspace, I can define that my workspace role in the AF Digital Philippines, I can publish and engage to all of the social accounts there. But on the other hand, on the workspace for the AF Digital Australia, what I can do is, since I'm not part of that branch or business unit, what they can do is actually limit my publish and engage capabilities in that workspace. And they can even you can even define it up to the point of which social account specifically you want that person to only be replying to. Let's say in AF Digital Philippines, you have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. If you only want that person to be able to publish or engage with Facebook, that's entirely possible. So these are 2 ways that you can limit the accessibility of users within Social Studio. So now that we have the core and a core understanding of some of the things that make Social Studio run and the sources of data, as well as the different levels of accessibility, let's go over to the main component, one of the main components of Social Studio. This is the publish. This is a great component for those content creators and publishers. It allows you to create, publish, and promote content to any number of social accounts. So some of the main things it can do is it allows users to collaborate over a shared calendar. So the calendar is so Social Studio Publish is entirely built around the calendar. It's where it allows you to publish content in your social accounts in a centralized location without having to access them natively. So this solves the problem of certain businesses that don't actually have a social media platform. So the common problem for businesses that don't rely on social media platforms or social media management tools is that if you're having to post or if you're going to schedule or publish a post in a lot of social accounts, what would happen is that you would most probably have to log in, log out to different accounts just to post the same thing over and over again. Or at the very least, you'd have several tabs open in your browser just to post that post for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Now with Publish, that solves that problem entirely. So let's say you're creating a Facebook post for 5 pages, and instead of having to do that, one by one for each page, you can just build it one single time and then post it to all 5 pages at once. Another feature they can do with Social Studio Publish is that it allows you to easily create and schedule content through a user-friendly UI that allows you to create your content while simultaneously also giving you a preview of how it looks like. And last but not the least, it also allows you to see your post's performance, so you can get an idea of how well your post is performing just by simply clicking on the post in the calendar and seeing the different metrics available, such as the organic reach, paid reach, likes, comments, shares, and all the other metrics that might interest you. So usually instead of having to access Facebook Insights just to get those information out of your social pages, you can now do that with Social Studio. So just go to Social Studio, click on a post, and you'll see how that post is performing. So I'll be running over some of the things that we'll be seeing later on in the Publish demo. So the calendar, this is the main interface of the Publish, wherein you can schedule your posts. Calendar filters help you when you're looking for something specific. You can filter out the calendar based on the social account, author, or label that you have attached to the post. You can also leave comments, suggestions, and other info on the calendar itself, such as reminders or at least comments on the post that was made by a colleague of yours in the calendar. You can leave notes there on the calendar for them to read and get notified of. And then we also have what we call publish labels. So publish labels are, think of this as something, as a way to tag and categorize the posts that you create or schedule or publish within Social Studio in order to be able to track them. So one use case of publish labels is when you want to track a series of posts inside a campaign. So let's take, for example, on this on the screenshot here, I can have a label for all my promotional for all the posts that were part of the promotional campaign. Another use case for this could be example is if you want to track all posts that you're scheduling targeted to a specific audience, and in this case, young adults, let's say 18 years old to 26 years old. Or let's say what type of posts you're making, such as birthday posts, staff announcements, public service announcement. So, and how you want to track your posts or organize it, it's entirely up to you, and how you want to classify these posts. But these are some of the common use cases that that publish labels are used for. So moving on, we also have shared content, so you can reuse content and share it to different workspaces that need it. So when you create a content in one workspace, and if you feel like the other workspace would also need it, you can share the content that you've already done to other workspaces, and as well as other users within the same workspace as you can actually reuse the content that you have just posted. This is especially important for posts that you usually do. One example is that for media networks that they usually post, just in or just announced or breaking news. So this is the type of shared content that you can have instead of having to manually do it every time. So this is something to improve the productivity of your agents or your users in Social Studio. Another feature that improves productivity for your social media marketers in Publish is what we call the publish macros. So publish macros allows you to apply predefined settings such as the publish labels, the social accounts that will be used by that post, the different targeting or gating that will be used by that post. All of it will be applied in a single click. So this saves precious minutes that always add up when you're measuring the user's productivity. It allows them to save time and when creating a single post. And last but not least, you can make use of approval process. So this improves the quality of your posts by implementing approval rules. You sort of have a screening process wherein before each posts are scheduled or published, there's an approver at the end of the process that checks whether or not if that content should be published or not. So you can have, let's say, up to 3 approvers, and you need only 1 out of 3 approvers to approve that post, and that post will be published. Or you can even have all 3 must approve that particular post in order for it to be scheduled or published. So without further ado, let's go to the actual demo of the Publish, so you can see on hand what Publish looks like in Social Studio. So I'm going to be switching over to the Social Studio screen. Right now, this is Social Studio. Right now, we're in the workspace selection. As you can see, I have plenty of workspaces here. Some of it are personal, some of it are for different brands and for different demo accounts. So what I'll be using is the demo workspace I have for this webinar, and I've already put in the social accounts for AF Digital Social, as well as our test accounts that we're using into this workspace, as well as some topic profiles such as AF Digital Brand, Salesforce topic profiles, as well as social listening for the very recent COVID-19 news. So right now, what you're seeing is actually Publish. So as a publisher or content creator, this is where you would mostly be spending your time on. So what you're seeing right now is the calendar. So the calendar, here you can see the different posts that have already been scheduled. This is an example, wonderful example of a note. Today is the webinar. I just leave a note saying don't forget to write a post on this one. And if you're not satisfied with the look of calendar, there's a lot of views that you can actually switch it over to. So you can switch it over to the day if your frequency of posting your content or your posts in social media is more on the hourly basis, or if it's more on the day-to-day business, you can switch over to the week. On a monthly basis, you can choose the month. You can even choose the overview, which provides a quick summary of the posts that you've already scheduled throughout the week. It gives you a preview of what the content is in that post. Or if you want a total breakdown of all the posts that you have scheduled, you can actually just use the list, and it gives you a total breakdown of all the posts that you have already scheduled in Social Studio in this workspace. And if you're looking for something specific, let's say you're only looking for all the posts on the official AF Digital accounts, what you can use are what we call the calendar filters here on the left side of the screen. So you can filter it by social accounts. So let's say I'm filtering only based on the official AF Digital accounts, and it's only going to show those posts that falls under the criteria here in the calendar filters. So you can use social accounts. You can even filter based on the status of that particular account. You can filter the calendar based on the status as well. So one good use case for this is if you have approval process in place, what you can do if you want to see how many posts you still have that are pending your approval, you can actually set the status to filter out based on the status pending approval, and you see all those posts. And then other than that, you can also filter out based on the label. As I mentioned, if you want to filter out, if you want to see all the campaigns for the promo or all the posts that we have created or scheduled for the promo campaign, just click on this filter right here. It's going to show you a breakdown of all the posts that are part of the promo campaign. And then you can also filter out by which particular author who created that particular post, as well as the different media type contained within that particular post. So why don't we try creating a post in Facebook? So it's very easy actually to create a post in Social Studio. Basically, what you need to do is select your desired date and time for when you would like that post to be scheduled or published. Don't worry, once you've already saved that or scheduled that, you can easily reschedule these posts just by dragging and dropping them. So how do you create a post? Just simply click on a spot within the calendar and choose what type of social media network that you'd like to create. And then from here, as I was saying, one of the biggest problems for those users that don't have a social media platform is that they have to log in and log out just to post the same thing over and over again to multiple pages. So instead of having that in Social Studio, what you can do is just simply adding all the necessary pages that you'd like that particular post to be added to. And what would happen is once I've saved once I'm done creating this particular post, it's going to be posted to all of these particular pages included. So let's say, for example, I'm creating a post about the webinar, register for upcoming webinars. As you can see on the right side, it's already giving me a preview of how that post would look like on Facebook. I can even upload images to this just as like I would on Facebook itself. Of course, there are limitations, such as for the limit for uploading images at least has to be, I think, around 10 megabytes. For videos, it has to be 1 gigabyte and at least less than 20 minutes. So as you see right now, there's already a post preview on the right side of the screen. The labels, the published labels I was mentioning a while ago. So this is part of the webinar series or post I was making. So I can attach a webinar as a published label for this particular post. And I'm also planning to target this for young adults, although obviously some of you in the audience right now may not be a young adult. That's okay, everybody's young at heart. You can add the young adult label as well, basically how you want to categorize this particular post that you're making. You can even add a location to this particular post. Let's say I wanted to attach Manila, Philippines to this particular post. Brand and content partner, this is what you usually see on Facebook or Instagram when you see an advertisement that's a post that has under the name of that particular person that it's posted, it says sponsored by this particular brand or sponsored by this particular company. So that's what branded content partner is. And then you can choose when this post will be published. You can choose to publish it now. You can choose to schedule it later from Social Studio. You can even send it to your Facebook account as an unpublished posts if you want to do it natively, or if you want to advertise the post as a dark post. And then you can even have that scheduled to Facebook natively as well. And the other thing, the links are also supported much like in Facebook. Different targeting methods just newsfeed targeting for interests. You can put in interests. Such as baseball, daycare, webinar, Salesforce, such as those. And since I'm creating this post for a webinar targeted at young adults, I can set the age to 18 to 26 years old. And then I can just set all the other things that I would need to do here. Now, you can even add, UDM parameters to your post that you're creating. So UDM parameters such as your Google Analytics parameters. If you want to track the performance of this page using Google, you can also do that just by adding the parameters to this post. And as I was mentioning, there were several features that help the productivity of your agents or of your users or marketers and publish. So one thing that I can do is that use macros, in a sense that if I'm always going to be creating a post, for webinars that are targeted for young adults, for those people aged 18 to 26 years old, and having to add the label, instead of having to do all that things, what I can do is just click on apply macro and use these young adults all Facebook accounts macro that I've created. So once I click that, it's going to add all that social accounts. It's going to set that young adult publish label, and it's also going to apply the different settings I have for targeting. So once I apply that and hit schedule, so let me remove some of the filters for now. So once I do that and apply and create the post, I have an approval process in place that would actually need to be satisfied before this post can be scheduled, before this post can be published or posted on the actual social media account. So if you check on some of these examples, this post needs an approval. So in order to do that, I have an approval process set in place for all of my posts that are from Facebook and contains the word promo. So this is important. Let's say if you have you're producing content that's highly sensitive to the customers may react badly to it. So you want to set an approval process just to ensure the quality of the post before you schedule them. So what you can do is that if you go to your tasks here, can you actually see all the pending posts that need approval before they can be scheduled or before they can be published. So right now, this particular post is actually needs my approval, and the details such as the various history that this particular post has gone through. Maybe it's gone a bit of back and forth between the submitter and the approver. You'd see the details here. As you can see, this was initially rejected, and then I resubmitted it, and this looks like it's okay now. I can leave a comment. Wonderful job. I can add a note, and I can just approve this process. And once we go back to the calendar, that post will now be scheduled and will be once we get to this particular date, that post will be scheduled. So what I was mentioning a while ago, there was a drag and drop capability as well with Social Studio Calendar. So don't worry if you want to schedule things. It's very easy to do that. You just simply have to drag it and drop it to a different date or different time. And that's how easy it is to reschedule a post in Social Studio. Other than that, if you want to see one of the important things as a social content creator is that you want to see how well your posts are performing. So as I've said earlier, you can actually see already the performance of your different posts on your different social media accounts in Social Studio simply by clicking on each of these posts. So for example, our CEO recently had his birthday. Happy birthday, Robin. If you're listening right now, So if we go down here, you can actually see the metrics that you would see on Facebook Insights already. As you can see, it's already reached 498 people, the post clicks, engagements, even the engagement rate, as well as the different reach breakdown, engagement breakdown, likes, comments, shares, post clicks. They can all be seen here already without having to access them on Facebook Insights. But if you're not satisfied with that as well, you can actually go to the performance tab within Social Studio Publish. It gives you a total overview or total summary of the general performance of your social accounts within this workspace in the last 7 days. So this is the data within all of your social accounts for Facebook. This is all the interactions for all your social accounts on Twitter. And what's more is that you can even actually export data. So if you would like to actually have this data exported and you want to make use of another analytics tool, external analytics tool, in order to create graphs and presentations, you can do that. You can export them as CSV files. But you can also make use of other Salesforce platforms such as Datorama and to create, further improve this, analytics capabilities within Social Studio. So if you want to see how your page is performing, you can do that with Social Studio Publish as well. One thing I would like to show you as well as the shared content. So as I was mentioning before, if you're creating the post over and over again, what you can do is actually just use shared content. So let's say you have a Valentine's post that you'd like to do. Let's say you're an airline company that would like to reuse this Valentine's post every year. Instead of having to post that or create that post each and every year, you can just save that as content and then use this content on a Facebook post as the shared content. And there you go. That post will actually be already ready for you to be. All you have to do is define the settings of this particular post. So that is mostly the Publish. Just to recap the features of Publish, you can schedule posts with the calendar. You can look for particular posts with the calendar views and filters. You can save time in creating a post with the shared content and Publish macros. You can organize your posts using Publish labels as well as notes and ensure the quality of content with the approval rules. So now let's move on to another major component of Social Studio, which is Engage. So Engage allows you to interact and communicate with your social fans, to build personal relationships and humanize the brand. So what it mostly allows you to do is interact with your fans in one location. Kind of like the analogy for logging in, logging out. This time you can actually respond to your customers all in one place. So you can have your Facebook in one column, you can have your Twitter in one column, you can have your Instagram on a single place. So you don't have to have multiple tabs open just to respond to these queries of your fans and your customers. Another thing is that it allows you to organize how you see your feed. So how the data is coming into Social Studio, the different data from social accounts and the different data coming from social listening for topic profiles. You can actually utilize engaged columns to decide how you want to see the data first in order to prioritize what kind of, which specific data you want to prioritize. And then lastly, there are several tools that help maximize the productivity of community managers as well as engagement leaders when it comes to Social Studio Engage. You can use macros as well as response templates that allows users to save minutes while attending to each post. So here are some of the things that we'll be seeing during the Engage demo. So first, this is the Engage feed. It's composed of columns as well as tabs, as you can see here on the bottom left of the Engage feed. So basically, how you want your feed to be designed is entirely up to you. And you can even standardize this, standardize each look for every user in the workspace by making use of Engage templates. So all of you have the same, same columns, same tabs as well when they log into the Engage. Another feature is the Post Inspector that allows you to perform various tasks in a post. So the Post Inspector, this is where you can respond to your customers. You can get context from the conversation by clicking on the Conversation tab right here. You can also, this where you'll also be using the macros and doing the taggings or classifications as we call them, defining the settings such as the status, the priority, who that post is assigned to, the sentiment of that post. Although when it comes to Social Studio, Social Studio already provides uh, uh, their initial rating of the sentiment of that particular post. You can also set the classifications as well as post labels and author labels, which to differentiate post labels, you assign these tags to a specific post. So let's say I can post two things. I say, hello, I love AF Digital, and hello, I have a complaint. If I attach a post label, say compliment to the first one, and I can attach another post label to the second one, which is a complaint. But with author labels, on the other hand, you're assigning tags to a specific post author, and this is a good way to identify who your spammers are, who the celebrities are, as well as VIPs, stakeholders. You can tag them so that every time they post, the user in Engage can identify that this person is a spammer, this person is a VIP, this person is a celebrity. And Engage macros, much like publish macros, you can also do that as well in Engage. Save the agents the hassle of tagging. Engage response templates. It allows your most user responses to be applied in a single click. So these are ready-made replies. Think of it as kind of like scripts that on a single click you can actually send out to whichever post you're responding to. So going over to the Engage demo. So this is what it actually looks like in Engage. So the way the thing that you're seeing right now is the Engage feed, and the way it looks like is entirely up to your preference or how your business needs it to be. The way I designed mine is that each column can be even filtered based on what data you want to see for that particular column. In this example, the way I designed my Engage feed is that in this column, I only want to see all the Facebook private messages from all my social accounts. And on the other hand, I want to see all the Facebook wall activities, as well as the mentions for that particular post. All of it will be coming to that one. So I filtered that I set the filter to all the posts except the received and sent inbox messages. And I've only set it to inbound. On the other hand, I also wanted a column wherein I could actually see all the posts that were sent by us. So in this column are all the outbound Facebook activities that I have done. And on the left side here this one is for my Twitter accounts. So this column is entirely dedicated for all my Twitter accounts, all the mentions that are in there, all of the direct messages or retweets or mentions that we have for our Twitter accounts right here. But even creating, sometimes a need arises where you have to create a column in the moment. So that's very easy. All you need to do is click on Add Column, define which one you need to use, social accounts or topic profile. In this case, I want to add maybe a specific social account, mainly for, let's say, for Instagram or Instagram business as well. And I can actually filter that out. I only want to see the posts that are coming, that are coming from my customers. I'll set that to inbound. And then maybe there's a particular language I'm only looking for, so I can set it to English if I want to. You can even set it the region of that particular column to only display posts coming from this particular region. Let's say Philippines and Australia. I can set that up. And that's how easy you can create a column in social media, in Social Studios Engage. So the other thing is that with the post inspector, it allows you to actually take a closer look at some of the posts here that's coming into your Engage feed. So this is where you can actually respond to your customers. So as I was saying, the info, this is where you can do your tagging. So right now, I think this is new content, not reviewed yet. This is actually a very good question by me. I sent it to myself. So I think I can schedule this as below. It's not really a complaint, or it's not really that important. It's neutral. It's not really negative. It's not really positive. So as you can see, there's automatically identified by Social Studio as a neutral statement. Classification, let's see, I think it's just more of feedback regarding how we as the business handled the COVID-19 issue. So I can have, since this is a topic all about the COVID-19, I can add post labels as, let's say, COVID-19. And what do you know? If you can see right here, this particular user or this particular social fan is actually a celebrity. As you can see, the author label tagged here. And this is the difference with post labels and author labels. So as an author label, every time I do a post from Zeke comes in, you'd see the tag celebrity. However, since that is a different post, you'll no longer see the comment and COVID-19 tags on the next post that I will that will come into Social Studio. So there are also other things that can help you out within Social Studio Engage. So the macros are also such a thing. So this is neither this is neither a complaint or a compliment, but let's say for the sake of the demo, I'll click this one. What it's going to do is set that sentiment to positive. It's set that classification to a brand mention, and all of that was done in just a single click. If you want to see the conversation or the context of or the previous messages that were sent to you by that particular user, you can click on the conversation tab on the post inspector in order to gain different, at least a level of context of the conversation that you were having with this particular person right here. And lastly, all the changes that you're doing to this particular post in the post inspector is going to be logged here in what we call the activity history. So you can also add a note, maybe please remember that this is a celebrity, and remember to respond to them immediately. So you can leave this notes as well for your other users. So multiple users can be working on the single workspace at the same time. Don't worry, every time a user actually changes how their engaged feeds look, it doesn't affect the other users that are engaged right now. So if you're wondering, what if both of us are looking at the same post and we might run the risk of replying to the same person twice? That will not be the case, since all users, when they're looking at the same post, there's going to be a notification on the top left side of the post saying how many users are currently looking at this particular post. So you don't run the risk of having two person, actually look at the same post at once. What you can do as well is, change the assignment of the post. You think that this particular post is, I think, better suited for other members within this workspace. I don't have the proper capability of answering the post by this person. So what I can do is that I can actually tag in other users so that they can respond to that. And what that is going to do is that once I've assigned that post to another user, it's going to send them both an email, and it's going to show as a notification here on the bell on the top of the screen right here. So on the other hand, I also have a tab containing the different topic profiles that I have. This is a topic profile. What you're seeing right now is an example of our topic profile for the AF Digital brand. So these are all the posts that are mentioning the keyword AF Digital from different sources such as forums, blogs, videos, images, mainstream news sites, Twitters, tweets, forums, comments, Facebook aggregators, buy and sell, Instagrams, even reviews and YouTube's comments as well. So this is being ingested by the topic profile. And the same thing that you can do with the topic profiles, you can further filter out what you want to see in that particular column. And you can do your taggings as well here. If that particular mention, let's say for this one, this is all about the Service Cloud, Salesforce Service Cloud. So I can attach, post labels saying this post is all about Service Cloud or Salesforce. And the reason that I encourage you guys to do the tagging or classification is once we get to analyze, or once you do an export of your data within Social Studio, you can actually filter out or see how many posts were all about Salesforce, or how many posts were all about COVID-19, or how many posts were positive, how many posts were negative. So once we get to analyze, it will make more sense. So that's basically what you can do with engage. So let's do a recap. Let's go back to the slides right here. So you can keep your users' productivity up with engage macros and response templates. You can customize your engage feed with column filters and engage templates. And you can even engage with your fans and tag posts based on author labels and post labels using the post inspector. And last but not least, we also have the Analyze. So the Analyze is the built-in reporting capability of Social Studio. Analyze is a remarkably powerful tool and an easy-to-use reporting tool for social media. And these are the main things that you can do with it. So you can get quick insights from it for using dashboards. So dashboards allow you to instantly create a report with several key metrics to gain an overview of data, such as the sentiment trend or the volume trend. So you can see when your mentions of the brand or when your page activity actually peaked, let's say, in the last 30 days. But if you want to actually drill down on the big data, what you can use are the workbenches. What I mean by drilling down on big data is if you're looking for something specific about the topic profiles or about the data in your social accounts, you can use workbenches in order to drill down on this big data. And then lastly, you can get scheduled exports of your data. If you want regularly get via email or CSV and PDF reports of a summary of your social pages or your topic profiles, you can do that as well by scheduling reports within Analyze. So the main things that we'll be seeing in Analyze are the dashboards. So dashboards, in a single click, you'll be able to create these standardized reports, although they can be customized with pre-configured, visual representation of your data, such as charts and different information as well. This is very useful if you just want to get a quick overview of what your data is telling you. But if you want to drill down on the data, you can use workbenches. Workbenches allows you to drill down on your data. And then we also have what we call the reports. We'll be seeing as well. The post reports can be set to run on a schedule, let's say for a specific period. You can have it, once every week or a specific day of the week. You can have it weekly or monthly or at least quarterly. And you can have Social Studio deliver these reports to specific dates and time to even users that are not, even emails that are not Social Studio users. So you can actually send reports to your key stakeholders, even if they're not users within Social Studio. So let's go over to Analyze. So within Analyze, the first thing that you can do is actually create dashboards, I have mentioned. So dashboards, you can simply create dashboards just by choosing any of these pre-made dashboard summaries that you already have. You just need to select what type of specific data you want to be. Is it topic profiles or is it a specific account? So in this example, I use a dashboard with all of my social accounts on Facebook, and automatically all of these what we call data cards have been created already. So it gives you an overview such as the sentiment by segment, the trend of the sentiment on a specific for the last 90 days. You can even filter what specific date period you would like this data to be showing. You can see the breakdown of on Facebook what type of post is being used by, or which channel is mostly being used by customers. So in this example, posts are 72.2% being used, and it's the most used type of channel for my Facebook accounts. You can also have you can also see the feed here, but aside from that, you also have the top words, and all these data cards are completely if you want to inspect closer, you can easily do that. So let's say I want to take a look at all the positive or all the negative posts, or in this case, I want to see all the posts that directly mentions the keywords AF Digital. I can simply click on this word, and it's going to show me in this data card the different mentions that actually is part of that word AF Digital, all the mentions that mention that particular word. Well, let's say another example is customer. All the posts that has used the word customer will also show here. And this dashboard right here is entirely be customizable. So if you wanted to add more cards, that's easily achievable. All you need to do is click add. You can choose which specific account, and then you can add, let's say, a new data card. Some of the data cards that are not immediately shown here as well can be attached, can be put in this dashboard as well. And there are several other important dashboards that you can actually use. So for topic profiles, this is a social listening summary. On the other hand, it also gives you a breakdown of the different posts. So the majority of it, in this example, for the AF Digital and the Salesforce industry, most of the mentions are coming from Twitter. Next by blogs, aggregators. If I wanted to take a closer look at it, I just click on it again, see which websites or blogs are these posts coming from. And one good example of another dashboard, if you want to measure the productivity of your users within Engage, there's also actually a dashboard what we call the engagement summary. So the engagement summary are a bunch of metrics, standard metrics that show how your users within Engage are responding to your customers. So you'd see metrics such as the average response time, the response rate, or as well as the leaderboard for who is leading and when it comes to answering or interacting with customers the best. So this is a dashboard. On the other hand, if you're looking for a more specific side of your data, let's say in my example, the topic profile COVID-19. I made a topic profile of COVID-19, so I put in a bunch of keywords such as coronavirus, corona, COVID-19, all the other scientific names about the coronavirus. And if let's say I'm looking for specific data about that particular topic profile, I can use the Workbench on the other hand to actually drill down on the data for this topic profile. So on the COVID-19 topic profile, right now it's still crunching the numbers because I think this is a fair, as you know, this is a fairly hot issue. There's tons and tons of mentions coming in, so it's taking a bit of time to actually load it. But what drilling down means is that in the coronavirus topic profile, I want to take a look at the top words being used in that topic profile. And then I noticed that in that particular topic profile, the top words, the word Trump is actually being used quite a lot. So I want to see in the keyword Trump, how many mentions with the keyword Trump had the positive or negative sentiment. So this is what it means by drilling down in the data. You could further dig deeper on whatever metrics you're looking at with the workbenches. Another example would be on the COVID-19 topic profile is, let's say for I'm taking a look at the different breakdown for the different countries mentioning this particular topic, COVID-19. And I want to see in the United States the trend of volume of these posts, when did it particularly peak? So I'll take a look at it. So in the United States, I can know that on April 7th, for some reason, all that there was a spike in the post talking about the COVID-19. And then as a business, I can take a look at what exactly did that particular topic do in order to get all these people to talk about it. And in relation to your brand, you can use that. If you're seeing a spike in your mentions as a business, you might identify these peak mentions as either positive or negative. Why are people suddenly talking about your brand, or why are people suddenly mentioning your business all of a sudden? And if you want to take a look at how to do that, you use workbenches. And last but not least, with the analyze is what we call the reports. So reports are much simpler. So reports basically, if you want to have an export of a specific dashboard that you want to be sent out to any users within Social Studio as well as emails, you can do that as here. You can just schedule that particular report. You can set the schedule, how the range of the post it's going to crawl, what type of it. Is it a PDF format? And you can even define if it's run only once, if it's daily or weekly or monthly. And what it's going to do is going to send you a link in the email that allows you to download the report that contains a snapshot of the dashboard as it was during that specific period of time. So this is especially useful if you want to actually don't want to actually have to log into Social Studio to take a look at your data. What you can do for your business and for your most importantly your stakeholders is have scheduled reports that send out the data or your metrics or your performance for your different social pages each time during a specific period, and let's say a month or a year or daily or weekly. And so that's the main components of the analyze. So we have, you want to grab quick insights or an overview of your data, and you want to do it fast. All you need to do is use dashboards. If you're looking for something specific within your data, or if you want to drill down on the big data that you have, use Workbenches. And if you want to have scheduled exports of your dashboards, or let's say your topic profiles or the posts in them, you can use scheduled reports. Thank you for joining us in the very first session of the Salesforce Masterclass series. Next week, we'll be talking about our specific use cases or specific business cases on how to leverage your Social Studio in your business. I'll be citing examples that we've actually, previously used with other clients and how they prefer or how they structure their Social Studio to operate. So if you're interested in that, join us again on next session. That will be again on Tuesday next week, April 14th at 2 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So once again, thanks everyone for joining. I highly appreciate you for tuning in, and have a nice day.